This is Nicholas Cruz, who was convicted of murdering 17 students and staff members in a high school shooting at Marjorie Stoneman Douglas High School in Parkland, Florida. A month before the attack, Cruz was already preparing. He practiced firing his weapon, perfecting his aim, planning every detail.
When you see me on the news, you'll all know who I am. You're all going to die. Pew, 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 pew.
Prior to the day of the massacre, Cruz recorded a chilling video in which he laid out his intentions.
Hello, my name is Nick, and I'm going to be the next school shooter of 2018. My goal is at least 20 people with an AR-15 and a couple tracer rounds. I think I can get it done. Location is Stoneman Douglas in Parkland, Florida. It's going to be a big event.
On February 14th, Valentine's Day, the then 19-year-old arrived at his former high school armed with an AR-15 rifle. He opened fire in the hallways and classrooms, killing 14 students and 3 staff members.
Oh my God! Oh my God!
The shooting lasted only 6 minutes, but left the school drenched in blood and terror. Security footage captured the chaos as students ran for their lives while Cruz methodically moved through the building.
He got into the 1200 building because that door was unlocked and unstaffed, and that we say that is a security failure.
Hours later, police body cam footage shows his arrest. He was found walking casually in a nearby neighborhood, blending in with fleeing students. Cruz was taken into custody without resistance. In the interrogation room, he spoke to detectives about what drove him to commit the massacre. He claimed a demon inside his head had been telling him to commit violent acts for years. When left alone in the room, he repeatedly punched himself in the face and begged officers to end his life. During the trial, prosecutors presented devastating evidence, and medical examiners described and demonstrated the lethal power of the high-velocity weapon Cruz used. But Cruz's violence didn't stop. While awaiting trial, he attacked a jail guard in an unprovoked assault, further proving his dangerous nature. Cruz pleaded guilty to 17 charges of premeditated murder and 17 counts of attempted murder. But before the judge handed down his sentence, Cruz made some statement.
I am very sorry for what I did, and I have to live with it every day. And that if I were to get a second chance, I will do everything in my power to try to help others. And I am doing this for you, and I do not care if you do not believe me. And I love you, and I know you don't believe me, but I have to live with this every day.
The judge then reads the sentence.
Mr. Cruz, you are remanded to the custody of the Department of Corrections to complete the mandatory life sentences imposed by the court.
However, the life sentence was not enough for the damage done, as some of the victims' families did not hesitate to vent their dissatisfaction.
Today, the wrong verdict was given.
We are beyond disappointed with the outcome today.
This is Ethan Crumbly, who pleaded guilty in court for the murder of 4 classmates when he was only 15 years old. Crumbly was a student at Oxford High School in Michigan. 4 days before the massacre, his father purchased a 9mm handgun as an early Christmas gift for him. Video footage shows him at a gun range, practicing with the very weapon he would use to kill his classmates.
Yes, he was definitely smiling when he was shooting the firearm, yes.
Reportedly, one morning, a teacher discovered alarming drawings on Crumbly's math worksheet, images of a gun, bullets, a person who appeared shot, with the words, "blood everywhere," and "the thoughts won't stop. Help me." His parents were called to the school but refused to take him home. About 2 hours later, the 15-year-old retrieved the gun from his backpack, walked into the bathroom, and emerged with the weapon loaded. He opened fire in the hallway, killing 4 students and wounding 7 others, including a teacher. After his arrest, his mother confronted him in the interrogation room.
Why? Why?
She broke down in tears as the gravity of what her son had done became clear. Defense attorneys later attempted to argue that Crumbly was experiencing a psychotic episode at the time of the shooting, claiming he was not in control of his actions. But prosecutors presented overwhelming evidence of premeditation,
Judge, a preliminary review of the defendant's social media accounts, his cell phone, as well as other document evidence recovered on scene show that this defendant planned the shooting. He deliberately brought the handgun that day with the intent to murder as many students as he could.
Crumbly pleaded guilty to all charges. Meanwhile, a statewide manhunt was launched after his parents, Jennifer and James Crumbly, failed to turn themselves in. Police body cam footage shows officers arresting them in a Detroit warehouse where they had been hiding. Following the arrest, the parents appeared in court facing involuntary manslaughter charges in the deaths of the 4 students. Prosecutors argued they enabled the massacre by purchasing the gun, ignoring warning signs, and refusing to remove him from school on the day of the shooting. Both parents were later convicted and sentenced to 10 to 15 years in prison, making them the first parents in U.S. history to be held criminally responsible for their child's mass school shooting. At Ethan Crumbly's sentencing hearing, he stood before the judge and spoke.
My actions were because of what I chose to do. Our parents, they did not know, and I did not tell them what I planned to do, so they are not at fault. I am a really bad person. I have done terrible things that no one should ever do. I have lied, been not trustworthy. I've hurt many people. Any sentence that they ask for, I ask that you do impose it on me, because I want them to be happy and I want them to feel secure and safe, and I do not want them to worry another day, because I really am sorry.
The judge showed no leniency during the sentencing. At just 17 years old, Crumbly was sentenced to life in prison without parole. This is Preston Walls. At just 18 years old, he was charged with murder after opening fire at Starts Right Here, an alternative educational program in Iowa. Walls attended Starts Right Here, a nonprofit youth outreach and education center designed to help at-risk teens get back on track. It was meant to be a safe space for second chances. Reportedly, one fateful day, Walls walked into the program with a gun. Without warning, he opened fire on his fellow students and the program's founder. 2 students were killed, and the program founder, Will Keeps, was seriously injured but survived. After the shooting, he drove away with his getaway driver, but police body cam footage showed he was later arrested while running into the woods.
Let's see your hands! Let me see your hands! Show me your hands!
In his defense, he testified that he felt harassed and threatened by the victims, claiming he didn't want to die that day at the hands of the victims.
I would have to come back tomorrow, and I was scared to walk out of that school at 1 o'clock. They waited outside the school for me before, talking about what they was finna do. I thought it was about to go down.
So you thought they were gonna start shooting at you right then?
Yeah.
Before sentencing, Walls took the stand and addressed the court.
My actions have changed Will's life and the lives of Rashad and Gianni's families forever, and I'm truly, truly sorry.
In court, the jury read the verdict.
So as to count 1, form of verdict number 2, we the jury find the defendant Preston Malik Walls guilty of murder in the 2nd degree. Count 2, form of verdict number 17, we the jury find the defendant Preston Malik Walls guilty of voluntary manslaughter.
You could see tears rolling down his face as the jury's verdict was announced. The judge sentenced him to 65 years in prison, with at least 40 years before he is eligible for release.